Listen to me. This world is shifting fast, faster than you can imagine. And the truth is, most people aren't ready. Not for the disruption, not for the challenge, not for the opportunity. But you didn't come here to play small, you came to win. And to win in what's coming, you need a new edge. You need skills that sharpen your mind, strengthen your soul, and harden your resolve. So let's get real, let's get focused, and let's get you ready. Vision is survival. You can't survive the storm if you don't know it's coming. You can't win the race if you don't know where the finish line is. And you can't rise in this next season of life if you don't know who you are, where you're going, or why it even matters. So I'm telling you right now, vision isn't just a nice idea. Vision is survival. It is your lifeline in the chaos. Your compass when the map is shredded. Your fuel when every excuse tells you to quit. Most people are reacting. Most people are drifting. They're not living, they're existing. They wake up, do what they've always done, and then wonder why nothing changes. And deep down, they know something's off. They feel the weight of potential burning inside them, but they've never taken the time to sit still, shut out the noise, and ask themselves the most important question: where am I going? I'm not talking about vague goals. I'm not talking about New Year's resolutions that crumble by February. I'm talking about a vision, clear, powerful, emotionally charged. A vision so compelling that it pulls you out of bed in the morning with fire in your gut. A vision so vivid that it keeps you focused when distractions scream for your attention. Because the moment you get clear on where you're going, you stop chasing everything that doesn't take you there. Without vision, you say yes to too much, you chase approval, you compare, you doubt, but with vision, you cut through the noise like a blade. You don't need everyone to understand your path because you see it. When you have vision, you don't get lost in temporary pain because your eyes are locked on long-term purpose. When you have vision, every setback becomes feedback, every failure becomes fuel. Vision gives your pain a reason, and when pain has a reason, you can endure almost anything. Think about this. Every great leader, every game changer, every icon you've ever admired, they weren't just lucky. They weren't just talented. They had vision. They saw what others couldn't. They believed when there was no proof. They moved as if the future they wanted was already on its way, and because of that, they created it. Vision gives you power in the present. When life throws punches, you don't fold because you know this moment is just a scene, not the whole story. Vision expands your capacity. It stretches you. You're willing to do more, sacrifice more, become more because you're working towards something that matters, something that's worth fighting for. Here's the truth. Life without vision is dangerous. It leaves you open to manipulation. It makes you vulnerable to mediocrity. It makes you a slave to comfort and convenience. The world is full of people who gave up on their dreams because they couldn't see them clearly enough to keep going. So they settled. They settled for routine, for average, for safe. And they buried their fire under layers of distraction, doubt, and disappointment. But that doesn't have to be you. You don't need permission to create a vision for your life. You don't need the stars to align. You just need to decide. Decide what you want. Decide what kind of person you're going to become to get there. Decide what you're no longer willing to tolerate. Because when you decide, the universe responds. Doors open, energy shifts, people show up, resources appear, but none of that happens until you get clear. It starts with a choice to stop reacting and start creating, to stop letting your past define you and let your vision pull you forward, to stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I don't try? Because the real danger isn't failure. The real danger is waking up one day and realizing you lived your whole life without ever really living at all. So what do you see? Not just with your eyes, but with your heart. What's calling you? What future version of yourself is waiting for you to step up and claim it? What reality are you willing to create no matter how many people laugh, doubt, or walk away? You've got to get obsessed with your vision. Not interested, not curious, obsessed. Because the world is going to throw distractions, detours, and discouragement at you every step of the way. If your vision isn't stronger than your excuses, you'll fold. If it isn't bigger than your fears, you'll stay stuck. But if your vision is real, if it's vivid, visceral, and deeply rooted in your core, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get more focused, more intentional, more alive. Adaptability is the new intelligence. In a world that's changing faster than ever before, the ability to adapt isn't just useful, it's essential. We were taught to value IQ, to memorize facts, to follow systems that were built for a world that no longer exists. But the rules have changed. The marketplace has changed, the environment, the economy, the culture, they're all shifting right beneath our feet. The ones who will thrive are not the ones with the most degrees or the most experience. The ones who will thrive are those who can pivot. The ones who can see what's coming, adjust in real time, and keep moving forward no matter what. Adaptability is the new intelligence, because the game is no longer about knowing all the answers. It's about being resourceful when you don't. It's about staying flexible when your plan gets obliterated. It's about letting go of what used to work and grabbing hold of what does. Too many people are still trying to win today with yesterday's playbook, and that's why they're stuck. That's why they're frustrated. That's why they're falling behind. Because they're trying to force a fixed mindset into a fluid world, and it doesn't work. The truth is, rigidity is weakness in disguise. We think if we cling tightly to control, we'll feel safe, but the more we resist change, the more powerless we become. Adaptability, on the other hand, is pure strength. It says, I don't need the circumstances to be perfect. I'll make it work anyway. It says, you can throw me into the fire, and I'll find a way to come out stronger. That's real power, not needing things to stay the same, but having the confidence that no matter how they change, you'll rise. Think about nature. The tree that doesn't bend in the storm, it breaks. The animals that couldn't evolve, they're extinct. Survival has always belonged to the adaptable. Intelligence used to be about knowing facts. Now it's about knowing how to shift, how to let go of old ways of thinking, how to learn faster than the world can hit you. And if you can do that, if you can embrace change instead of fearing it, there's nothing you can't handle. This isn't theory, this is life. Careers are being disrupted. Industries are being restructured. What was valuable yesterday is irrelevant today. The job you trained for could be automated tomorrow. The strategy you built your business on might be obsolete in a year. You can either fight that reality or you can evolve. But make no mistake, staying the same is the most dangerous move you can make right now. Adaptability also means emotional intelligence, because when the pressure hits, when the world doesn't cooperate with your plan, how do you respond? Do you panic? Do you shut down? Do you make excuses? Or do you breathe, adjust, and move forward? The people who win are the ones who respond, not react, who keep their head while everyone else is losing theirs, who ask better questions in the face of chaos. What can I learn? What can I build from this? How do I grow stronger because of this, not in spite of it? There's a mindset behind adaptability. It says, I'm not attached to being right, I'm committed to getting better. It says, I'm not here to protect my ego, I'm here to expand my impact. If something breaks, you don't break with it, you rebuild, you innovate, you figure it out. That's what adaptability looks like in real time, not perfection, not control, but relentless movement forward in the face of uncertainty. And let's be clear, adaptability isn't about being passive. It's not about just going with the flow. It's about staying grounded in your vision while being flexible in your approach. It's about holding the outcome in your heart, but staying open to 1,000 different paths to get there. Because life won't hand it to you the way you imagine. It'll test you, it'll twist the road, it'll make you question everything. But if you can stay agile, if you can adjust your sails when the wind changes, you'll keep making progress when everyone else is stuck at the dock, waiting for perfect conditions that are never coming. Adaptability is courage, it's creativity, it's leadership, it's refusing to be paralyzed by change, and instead becoming the person who drives it, The world doesn't need more people clinging to the past. It needs innovators. It needs bold thinkers. It needs you at your most agile, your most awake, your most resilient, because the future isn't written yet. And it's not going to be built by the rigid. It's going to be built by the ones who can dance with the unknown and still keep moving with power and purpose. Master your emotions or be mastered. Your emotions are either your fuel or your prison. They're either working for you or working against you, and most people, without even realizing it, are being run by emotions they don't control. They wake up feeling tired, anxious, or frustrated, and instead of shifting that state, they surrender to it. They let that feeling dictate the way they move, the way they speak, the way they treat people, the way they think, and over time, that emotional pattern becomes a habit, that habit becomes an identity, and suddenly they're not just feeling stuck, they've become it. But here's the truth. Emotions are not facts. They are signals. They are energy. They are messengers trying to tell you something. But if you don't learn to interpret them, regulate them, and lead yourself through them, they will run your life into the ground. Because you can't be powerful and reactive at the same time. You can't build something extraordinary while constantly being thrown off by every little mood swing. You can't lead anyone. Not your business, not your family, not your own future, if you can't first lead yourself emotionally. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It doesn't mean pretending everything's okay when it's not. It means owning them. It means recognizing what you're feeling, understanding where it's coming from, and deciding what to do with it. It means not letting a moment of anger destroy a relationship. It means not letting fear stop you from taking action. It means not letting doubt paralyze your momentum. It means becoming bigger than the feeling, not being buried by it. You have to remember, your brain is wired to protect you, not to push you. It's designed to keep you safe, to keep you alive. So the moment something feels uncertain, unfamiliar, or uncomfortable, your nervous system sends you emotional signals. Fear, hesitation, anxiety. That's natural. But just because something feels risky doesn't mean it's wrong. And just because something feels safe doesn't mean it's right. You can't trust every emotion blindly. You have to lead them. You have to train yourself to respond, not react, to feel the wave without being dragged under by it. Emotional mastery is about pattern recognition. Every time you feel overwhelmed, every time you feel stuck, every time you feel small, you've felt that before. It's not new. It's just an old pattern resurfacing. The question is, are you going to run the same script again? Or are you going to choose something different? Are you going to repeat the loop, or are you going to break it? Because that's where your power lives, in that moment of choice. When you decide to act based on your vision instead of your emotion, there's a level of strength that comes from emotional awareness. When you can step outside of yourself for a moment, take a breath, and say, okay, this is frustration talking. This is fear trying to keep me in the familiar. This is insecurity making noise. You disarm the emotion. You take the sting out of it. You create space between the feeling and the action. And in that space, you gain control. That space is where transformation happens. Most people avoid that work because it's uncomfortable. It's easier to blame, to complain, to numb out, to scroll, to eat, to drink, to run. But that comfort is costing them their lives. You can't grow without discomfort, and you can't evolve until you face the emotional patterns that have kept you stuck. That's where mastery begins, not in the external world, but in your inner world. Because the storm outside doesn't matter if you've got peace and focus inside. You have to decide who you want to be when life hits, because it will hit. Things will go wrong, people will disappoint you, plans will fall apart. And in those moments, your emotional habits will either lead you forward or pull you under. Are you going to be someone who breaks under pressure? Or someone who gets sharper because of it? Are you going to be the victim of your own internal chaos, or the creator of calm in the storm? Emotional mastery also gives you presence. When you're no longer constantly reacting to every emotional trigger, you become more grounded. People feel that, they trust it. You speak differently, you make better decisions, you attract better opportunities. You stop chasing validation because you've already validated yourself internally. You stop fearing judgment because your peace no longer depends on someone else's opinion. That's the level where your power becomes unshakable. Not because the world got easier, but because you got stronger. You became the one who leads, not the one who's led. Skill 1, strategic thinking. Strategic thinking isn't just about being smart. It's about being intentional. It's the difference between movement and progress, between action and achievement. Most people are busy, but they're not effective. They're running around, reacting, solving problems, putting out fires, answering emails, attending meetings, staying productive. But none of it is moving the needle because they're not thinking strategically. They're not looking ahead. They're not seeing the whole board. They're just playing the next piece, hoping it works out. And that's how people stay stuck in the same cycle for years, mistaking motion for momentum. Strategic thinking is a skill you have to train. It doesn't come from being reactive, it comes from being deliberate. You step out of the day-to-day chaos and you ask yourself the hard questions. What's the real objective here? Where am I actually trying to go? What's the smartest way to get there? What am I doing right now that's getting in the way? It's about zooming out, lifting your head up from the grind and seeing the bigger picture. It's about moving from task-based living to vision-driven leadership. Because when you think strategically, you stop chasing everything and start executing on the few things that really matter. Most people think strategy is for CEOs or military generals. That's a lie. Strategy is for everyone. Whether you're running a company, building a career, creating a brand, raising a family, or just trying to elevate your life, without strategy, you're gambling. You're just throwing effort into the void and hoping something sticks. But effort without direction is wasted. You can hustle all day long, but if you're climbing the wrong mountain, you'll just get tired, not successful. Strategic thinkers don't just ask, what do I need to do? They ask, why am I doing this? And what's the impact? They look at the downstream effects. They look for leverage. What's the one decision, the one action, the one shift that could make everything else easier or unnecessary? They don't try to do it all. They do what matters most, and they do it with precision. Because clarity breeds power, and power breeds results. One of the biggest barriers to strategic thinking is urgency. The pressure to get things done. The noise of the world telling you that you have to move faster, do more, keep up. But speed without direction is a recipe for burnout. You can't be strategic if you're constantly in reaction mode. It's about discipline. The discipline to pause, to reflect, to step back from the noise and look at the situation with clear eyes. That's where your best thinking happens, not when you're in the storm, but when you rise above it. Strategic thinking also means anticipating problems before they happen. It means being proactive, not just reactive. You're not just dealing with issues after they explode, you're seeing them coming and adjusting course early. You're spotting patterns, understanding context, making decisions not just for today, but for the future. You're not trying to avoid every obstacle, but preparing for them. You're building systems, habits, and frameworks that protect your energy and multiply your results over time. It's about thinking in terms of consequences. What are the second and third order effects of this decision? What does this mean for the long game? Strategic thinkers play chess, not checkers. They don't just go after the easy win, they go after the right win. They're willing to sacrifice comfort in the short term to create massive advantage in the long term. They know that strategy isn't always sexy, it's not always fast. Sometimes it's a quiet grind, a focused recalibration, a deep internal shift. But those moves, done right, change everything. And strategic thinking isn't just logical, it's visionary. You don't just plan for what is, you imagine what could be. You innovate. You challenge assumptions, you question the old way of doing things, you stretch your mind into new territory. Because if your vision is limited, your strategy will be too. You have to believe in the possibility of something greater before you can design the path to get there. And that's the edge most people miss. They plan small because they think small. They build strategies for survival, not expansion. But if you want to lead, really lead, you have to think bigger and smarter at the same time. Being strategic also means being selective. You don't chase every opportunity. You don't say yes to everything. You protect your time like it's gold, because it is. You know that every time you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else, and you choose wisely. You make space for deep work, creative thinking, and meaningful execution. Because strategy without action is theory, and action without strategy is chaos. You need both. The power is in the alignment, the clarity of purpose, the sharpness of focus, and the boldness of execution. Working together towards something that actually matters. Skill 2, communication with impact. Words move people. Words start revolutions, build empires, heal wounds, and close deals. But communication isn't just about talking, it's about connecting. It's not about being the loudest voice in the room, it's about being the clearest. It's about being so aligned with your message that when you speak, people feel it. They don't just hear you, they believe you. They trust you, they remember you, because you're not just transferring information, you're transmitting energy. Communication with impact is a skill that separates leaders from followers, visionaries from spectators, and those who influence from those who are ignored. It's not about perfect grammar or an impressive vocabulary. It's about presence, clarity, intention. It's knowing what needs to be said, why it matters, and how to deliver it in a way that lands deeply. You can be the most brilliant person in the room, but if you can't communicate your ideas with conviction and clarity, your brilliance stays locked inside you. The world is full of noise. Scrolling headlines, talking heads, status updates, empty words. If you want to stand out, if you want your voice to cut through all of that, you have to speak from truth. You have to speak from vision. You have to speak from alignment. That means knowing who you are, knowing what you stand for, and letting every word reflect that. People don't follow perfection, they follow authenticity. They follow certainty. They follow someone who is congruent. Someone who doesn't just talk it, they live it. When you communicate with impact, you shift people. You shift energy in a room. You shift the direction of a team. You shift someone's state in a single sentence, because you're not just saying things, you're changing things. That kind of communication starts with listening. Listening with intention. Listening to understand, not just to respond. Because when you listen deeply, you speak powerfully. You don't waste words. You speak to the heart of the matter. You meet people where they are and then lift them with your words to where they need to be. Real communication is about resonance. It's about delivering your message in a way that hits the right frequency for the person in front of you. That could be in a meeting, on a stage, on camera, in a negotiation, or across the dinner table. It doesn't matter the setting. What matters is your ability to read the moment, feel the energy, and say what needs to be said in a way that gets through. Impactful communication isn't rigid. It's responsive. It's alive. You don't just repeat a script, you tune into the moment and adjust your delivery to create maximum connection. And it's not just the words, it's the tone, the body language, the pause, the conviction in your voice. Every piece of you is communicating something, whether you realize it or not. If your body says fear, your voice says doubt, your energy says hesitation, people pick that up instantly. But when your body says certainty, your tone says leadership, and your words match your truth, people lean in. They listen because they trust what they feel even more than what they hear. You also have to understand that communication with impact is not about dominating a conversation. It's about elevating it. It's not about talking over people. It's about lifting people, guiding them to a new perspective, helping them see what they couldn't see before you opened your mouth. That's real influence. Not control, but clarity. Not noise, but meaning. It's about using your voice to clarify chaos, to spark action, to inspire movement. Whether you're leading a team, selling a product, building a brand, or having a hard conversation with someone you love, it's all communication. And if you master it, you can move mountains. The most impactful communicators are intentional with every word they speak. They don't fill the air to sound smart. They speak to shift minds, open hearts, and create momentum. And they speak differently because they think differently. They're clear on their outcome before they open their mouth. They're clear on their message before they hit record. They don't ramble. They don't apologize for speaking truth. They understand the power of simplicity, the power of storytelling, the power of silence, the power of a message delivered with full presence and zero doubt. When you communicate with impact, you don't have to push people, you pull them. You draw them in with your clarity, your conviction, your certainty. And that's not just a skill, it's a superpower in a world that's drowning in noise and starving for truth. Skill 3, ruthless self-discipline. If you want to build something extraordinary, if you want to rise above average, if you want to lead your own life instead of being pushed around by circumstances, there is one skill that becomes non-negotiable: ruthless self-discipline. This isn't the kind of discipline that's convenient or conditional. It's not about motivation. It's not about feeling like it. It's about doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't wait for the right mood, the right weather, the right alignment of the stars. You move because your mission demands it. Self-discipline is the quiet force behind every achievement that looks impossible from the outside. The athletes, the entrepreneurs, the creators, the leaders, none of them got there by chance. None of them woke up every day overflowing with motivation. They got there because they made a decision and then followed through over and over, especially when it was hard, especially when it was boring, especially when it was lonely. That's what ruthless self-discipline looks like. It's not loud, it's not glamorous, it's not always exciting, but it's powerful because it builds the kind of internal structure that success depends on. You see, most people are addicted to comfort. They'll trade their goals for a few more minutes of sleep. They'll trade their potential for the easy path. They'll trade their future for what feels good now. And that's why most people stay stuck, because they're driven by emotion, not commitment. But when you develop ruthless self-discipline, you flip the script. You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop reasoning with your limitations. You build a mindset where comfort is no longer the goal, growth is. You stop doing things based on what's easy and start doing them based on what's necessary. Ruthless self-discipline is the ability to keep showing up when no one is clapping, when no one is watching, when there are no immediate rewards. It's doing the work in the dark so that one day you can shine in the light. It's pushing yourself, not because someone is forcing you, but because you've made a decision to become someone greater. That decision isn't something you make once, you make it every single day. You make it when your alarm goes off. You make it when your legs are tired. You make it when the excuses are screaming in your mind louder than your reasons. And you shut them down. Because you've built a standard for yourself that doesn't bend under pressure. People talk about freedom like it's the absence of discipline. But that's backwards. Real freedom comes from discipline. The freedom to create, to grow, to lead, to build whatever future you choose. That comes from doing the hard things consistently. That comes from training your mind to follow through, to resist temptation, to delay gratification in service of something bigger. Every time you say no to distraction, no to the excuse, no to the old version of you, you're building power, you're strengthening the muscle that separates dreamers from doers. It's not about being perfect, it's about being relentless. Discipline isn't some straight line. You will slip, you will fall, you will have moments of weakness. But what matters is what you do next. Do you spiral or do you reset? Do you make it a story or do you make it a lesson? Ruthless self-discipline means you don't allow failure to define you. You use it, you learn from it, and then you get back in the game with even more focus, more fire, more commitment. The difference between the life you want and the life you have right now isn't luck. It's consistency. It's the tiny, repeated actions done with intention and intensity long after the excitement wears off. Discipline is the bridge between your vision and your reality. It's how you close the gap between potential and performance. And the reason it has to be ruthless is because the world is full of things trying to pull you off course. Distractions, opinions, setbacks, emotions, they're all competing for your attention. And if you're not ruthlessly disciplined about what matters most, you'll drift. You'll forget why you started. You'll lose the edge that greatness demands. Ruthless self-discipline means you become the kind of person who keeps their word to themselves. You don't just talk about goals, you live them. You don't just write plans, you execute them. You don't wait to feel confident, you build confidence by keeping promises, by stacking wins, by doing what others won't. Because that's what creates unshakable belief. That's what forges mental toughness. That's what turns potential into power and vision into results. Pressure reveals the truth. Pressure doesn't create character, it reveals it. When the heat is on, when the stakes are high, when everything is on the line, that's when you see who someone truly is. It's easy to maintain a facade when life is smooth, when there's no tension, no urgency, no demands. But when you're up against the wall, when the world feels heavy and every decision matters, that's when your real nature comes to the surface. The pressure strips away the distractions, the pretenses, the comforts, and forces you to face what's truly inside you. We all like to believe we're calm, composed, and capable of handling anything. We like to think we have control, that we can keep our emotions in check and respond with grace. But pressure tests those assumptions. It pushes us beyond what we thought were our limits and exposes our vulnerabilities. It's like a magnifying glass that enlarges everything, our strengths, our weaknesses, our resilience, and our fears. The way we handle pressure tells us who we really are, how deeply committed we are to our vision, and how well we can adapt when things aren't going our way. In moments of high pressure, your true values come to the forefront. When there's no easy way out, when every decision has a consequence, you're forced to make choices that reflect your deepest beliefs. Do you act with integrity? Do you prioritize what matters most, or do you give in to the easy way out? Pressure has a way of making these values undeniable. It shows whether your actions match your words, or if your commitment is merely a surface-level aspiration. The pressure to perform can either break you or strengthen you. The way you respond to that pressure will define your future. Some people fold when things get tough. They crumble under the weight, letting their fears and self-doubt consume them. But there are others who rise to the occasion. They embrace the challenge, and instead of letting the pressure crush them, they let it fuel their growth. The difference isn't luck or circumstance, it's mindset. Those who thrive under pressure see it as an opportunity, not a burden. They understand that pressure is part of the process, not something to avoid. They see it as the environment where greatness is forged. We are often quick to judge ourselves when we feel overwhelmed. We think that if we are struggling, we are failing. But pressure isn't meant to be comfortable, it's meant to test us. It's through discomfort that we find our greatest strength. When we're pushed beyond what we thought was possible, we discover new depths of resilience we never knew existed. We realize that we can endure far more than we ever imagined, and we gain a sense of empowerment that comes from knowing we can rise above any situation. Pressure doesn't just reveal who we are, it reveals who others are too. It brings clarity to relationships, teams, and partnerships. When things go wrong, when everything is on the line, you see who steps up, who stays calm, and who is willing to lead. You see who crumbles under pressure, who shifts blame, and who runs from responsibility. The people who remain steady, who take ownership, who face the situation with confidence. These are the people who inspire trust. They show their true character in the face of adversity, and their actions speak louder than any words. What pressure does is force us to make decisions faster, with less information, and in circumstances where perfection is impossible. It strips away the luxury of procrastination and indecision. It forces us to act. And in those moments of decisive action, we learn about our own capacity for leadership, for problem solving, and for resilience. Some people are paralyzed by pressure, unable to make any move, afraid to make the wrong choice. Others step forward, take ownership, and push through with confidence. It's in these moments that our capacity to handle adversity is tested. It's in these moments that the best versions of ourselves are born. Another powerful truth that pressure reveals is our true level of commitment. When things get hard, when the road gets rough, our passion for our goals is revealed. Those who are committed will find a way to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep moving forward no matter what obstacles stand in their path. Those who are not fully committed will find excuses, take shortcuts, or abandon the path altogether. Pressure has a way of showing us whether we're truly invested in the outcome or if we've just been going through the motions. It shows us whether we have the fire to continue in the face of adversity or if we were merely pretending to be determined. The truth revealed by pressure is not always comfortable. Sometimes it exposes our weaknesses, our fears, and our insecurities. But that's not a reason to shy away from it. It's an opportunity to confront those weaknesses, to face those fears, and to grow stronger. Pressure shows us where we need to improve, where we need to develop, and where we need to level up. It's an opportunity for growth, and those who embrace it will come out the other side more powerful than they were before. Ultimately, pressure reveals the most important thing: our potential. It shows us what we are capable of when we refuse to give up, when we push through despite the challenges, and when we remain focused on our vision. It exposes the greatness that lies dormant within us, waiting for the right circumstances to be unleashed. It is through pressure that we break through our limits, expand our abilities, and step into the person we were always meant to be. Your decisions define your destiny. The decisions you make today are the architects of your future. Every choice, every action, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, is like a stone laid down on the path that leads to your destiny. The truth is, life doesn't just happen to you, life happens because of you. Your decisions carve out your journey. They shape who you become, what you accomplish, and how you impact the world around you. The direction of your life, the life you are living right now, is the result of the decisions you have made up to this point. And as much as you might like to point to external factors, the truth is, your choices are the ones that have determined your reality. Many people go through life without fully understanding the power of their decisions. They move from one moment to the next without conscious intention, reacting to the world instead of actively shaping it. They allow fear, uncertainty, and circumstances to dictate their choices, and in doing so, they give up their power. But you are not a product of your circumstances. You are a product of the choices you make in response to those circumstances. The moment you take responsibility for your decisions, you take control of your life. The key to understanding this truth is recognizing that each decision, no matter how insignificant it might seem in the moment, is setting a course for your life. You might think that small choices don't matter, that they don't have any lasting impact. But in reality, those small choices are the building blocks of your future. The seemingly trivial decisions you make today will one day be the decisions you look back on and realize were pivotal in shaping who you became. In fact, your destiny is not determined by the major events in your life. It's not determined by your big accomplishments or the big challenges you face. It's not even determined by the opportunities you are presented with. Your destiny is determined by how you respond to those events, how you make decisions when faced with choices. Whether you choose to stand up when others sit down, whether you choose to take risks when others play it safe, whether you choose to continue when everything seems to be falling apart, those decisions shape everything. People often underestimate the power of momentary decisions. We tend to think that only big decisions matter, the ones that change the course of our lives. But every moment is an opportunity to make a choice that can shift the trajectory of your future. How you spend your time, how you treat others, the habits you build, the thoughts you allow to dominate your mind, all of these seemingly small decisions accumulate and determine who you become over time. And as those decisions stack on top of one another, they compound into something much greater than the sum of their parts. Every decision you make, whether it's a choice to take the harder road, to keep going when you want to quit, or to refuse to let fear control you, is a decision that will have lasting consequences. Success isn't just about making the right decisions. It's about making decisions with conviction, making decisions with purpose, making decisions that are aligned with who you want to become. It's about developing the ability to make decisions based on your values, not on your emotions or on external pressure. The power of your decisions also lies in their ability to shift your mindset. When you make conscious, empowered decisions, you're training your brain to think differently. You're reinforcing the belief that you are in control of your life. The more decisions you make with intention, the more you strengthen your decision-making muscles. Over time, you become more decisive, more confident, and more aligned with your goals. You stop hesitating, stop second-guessing yourself, and begin to trust your intuition, your purpose, and your vision for the future. Every decision you make is an opportunity to move closer to your dreams or further away from them. You may not always make the perfect choice, but every decision is an opportunity to learn and grow. Even when you make mistakes, those mistakes become stepping stones to success. They teach you what works and what doesn't. They refine your decision-making process and help you make better choices in the future. It's easy to blame external factors for where we are in life, to blame the economy, our upbringing, our circumstances. But the truth is that we are not defined by those things. We are defined by the decisions we make in response to them. The way you choose to view setbacks, the way you choose to handle adversity, the way you choose to push through challenges. Those are the things that define who you are and who you will become. Your destiny is not some distant, out-of-reach future. It is unfolding right now in this very moment. The person you will be tomorrow, the success you will achieve, the impact you will have, all of it starts with the decisions you make today. Take ownership of your choices, understand the power of each decision, and use that power to create the life you want, because in the end, your destiny is not something that happens to you. It is something that you create one decision at a time. In conclusion, the power to shape your future, your success in your life lies within you, and it all comes down to the decisions you make. Your destiny is not a product of random chance or uncontrollable external circumstances. It is crafted by your choices, day by day, moment by moment. Every decision you make, whether small or monumental, propels you in the direction of your dreams or leads you further away from them. The key to taking control of your future is recognizing the immense power each choice holds. The foundation of this journey begins with self-discipline. It is the unwavering commitment to your goals, the ability to stay focused and driven even when the world around you distracts or challenges you. Self-discipline is not simply about following rules. It's about understanding that your daily habits and actions are what compound over time to produce success. It's about doing what you need to do, not just what feels good in the moment. With self-discipline, you are able to maintain momentum, even in the face of adversity, and stay on the path to your greater vision. The pressure you face in life is another critical factor that reveals your true character and potential. When you are faced with challenges, when your limits are tested, that's when you truly learn what you are capable of. Pressure doesn't break you, it reveals your strength, your resilience, and your true potential. It's in these moments that you find out whether you will rise or fall. Those who thrive under pressure are those who see challenges as opportunities, who embrace discomfort, and who continuously push forward, understanding that growth comes through struggle. Your vision is the driving force behind everything you do. It is the beacon that guides your decisions, shapes your actions, and gives you the clarity to move forward. Without a clear vision, you will drift through life without purpose, without direction. But with vision, you have a roadmap for your future. You have a constant reminder of why you're making the decisions you're making, and that sense of purpose will give you the strength to overcome any obstacle in your way. At the core of it all is the understanding that your decisions, more than anything else, determine your destiny. The way you respond to life, the way you choose to act when faced with challenges or opportunities, defines who you will become. It's easy to think that your circumstances are out of your control, but the truth is that your choices give you the power to create the life you want. Every decision you make, every action you take, is a step toward the person you aspire to be. It's not about waiting for the right moment, it's about making the moment right through the choices you make. When you take responsibility for your decisions and fully embrace the impact they have on your life, you stop waiting for life to happen to you. You start making life happen for you. You stop making excuses, you stop blaming others, and you take full ownership of your actions and outcomes. The person you are today is a direct reflection of the decisions you made in the past, and the person you will become tomorrow will be a direct result of the decisions you make today. The power is in your hands, and with that power comes the responsibility to choose wisely, choose boldly, and choose relentlessly. Ultimately, your journey is one of constant growth and evolution. You will face challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt, but as long as you keep making the right decisions, keep pushing forward with purpose, and continue to align your actions with your vision, you will create the future you desire. Your decisions will define your destiny, and that destiny is something you have the power to shape every single day. So, step into your power, trust your decisions, and create the life you were meant to live. The road is yours to walk, and every choice you make is a step toward greatness.